Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gator Light, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gator Light hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us. Before we jump in, I don't do this every week, but I would love if you went over, left a review, left a comment. I listen to all of those. Give me some topics. Send over to Steve at teachhoops.com. What kind of topics do you want to hear? But before we jump into today's topic, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. I've tried them all, and this is not only how innovative are, but the workouts and what I love about Dr. Dish is they give back to the community. If you follow them on Facebook, if you follow them on Twitter, they're always giving back to the basketball community. And you mentioned Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It is a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's resources, it's handouts, it's videos, it's one-on-one calls, it's office hours. It's a coach. It's a resource run by a coach for a coach. It's not an ex-coach, not someone that's been let go, not someone that's coaching part-time. This is what I do. And Teach Hoops helps me keep the bills on. It helps me put up these podcasts, 13 podcasts a week. Teach Hoops helps me be able to do that. And it's a roadmap for you to be successful. And let me help you in this great journey that we call coaching. But let's head off to the podcast. That might be our record. We only talked for like an hour before we started doing our podcast today.
Might be. Well, that's because we talked for 2 hours earlier this week.
Yeah.
Before we did
we got everything out of the get everything out of the
still we could probably talk for another 2
I was
hours.
telling Coach I have strep throat, so I feel like I'm 12. So
Yeah, actually, I mean, if you wouldn't have said anything, I wouldn't have known. So it's coming.
It was I had to take a mental health day teaching wise for like, okay, we're gonna watch we're gonna watch a video rather than it used to be like used to be TV and then it used to be film strips or whatever it used to be in the old days, but nope.
Yeah.
Coach's voice was shot too, but
and you have all seniors, right, in your class?
I do. There's 29 when we're
I'm
filming
sure
when we're taping this. There's 29 school days left, so
they're done.
You can put a fork in them.
Yeah.
And it used to bother me, but then I had an experienced teacher tell me early in my career when I was teaching seniors, I was in the copy room and she goes, Steve, post spring break, anything you can get that in their brains in the 50 minutes you have them in class is a win.
Yeah, I bet.
You're not getting much after that 50 minutes. Outside of school, they're scared, their life's changing, their school. It's like, so she goes, just try to get what you can get in that 50 minutes and then walk out of the school feeling like you did a good job.
Isn't that nice though, when you were a kid, to have those blocks of time Okay. I just have to get through Thanksgiving break,
Yes.
right? Then I got to get to
Well,
Christmas
I have
break,
that. I've had that
then
my entire
spring break.
career.
I mean, you do, but
I know.
a
I've always
regular,
had in the
a
weird part.
non-teacher does
Well,
not.
the
Right?
weird part is you have a start and an end to your job.
Correct. There's
Just
something beautiful
weird.
about that.
There is beautiful. It's all in early. It was very sad, and I'm not as sad as I used to be.
Mhm.
But it's like, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it might make retirement easier
Yeah.
because I've gone through a bunch of mini retirements every summer. Like,
Right.
and you
Right.
end and you go there and you
Right.
go on your life and you fill it up with time and then you start over again. You know, I just in August at some year I just will be in New York or visiting somebody. I don't know.
You'll have
Um,
an extended time off, a
yes,
vacation, right?
that'll be
That'll be a
yeah.
long one.
Then we'll be
Yeah.
working on coaching youth hoops. And what else? That's a perfect lead in. Pat
That's
myself on the
good.
back.
That's good.
I could
That's
be
good.
going to do a clinic,
Good.
couldn't I, coach?
You
Isn't that
could
a
be,
perfect
you
lead in?
could be.
So how is that a lead in? Explain to the
Yeah, so
listeners how
hey,
that's a lead
coaches,
in.
Steve and I decided this year we are going to do a clinic giveaway. So here's how this works. You're going to go to coachingyouthhoops.com/clinic. And if you're part of a youth organization, you and all of your coaches in your organization will fly out to you and do a clinic. And we're going to walk you through the preseason, during season, how to optimize practice, how to get more out of every player, how to implement a defense, offense for your entire coaching staff. So go to coachingyouthhoops.com/clinic.
Clinic.
So
And there's other you can
coachingyouthhoops.com/clinic.
also win an
Yep.
IC3, a shooting machine. You can also win a personal subscription
To
to
Coaching Youth
Coaching Youth
Hoops.
Hoops. You'll get, and if you sign up, you're going to get something. You're going to get our online clinic, right, coach?
Yeah, a preseason online clinic. Yep. Yeah,
Preseason
yeah.
online clinic
Yeah.
for free.
It's shorter, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be all
And
free.
then we've been
Yep.
charging for it. It's awesome. That's yeah. So, and what else do we have? Do we have something else? I think we have something
We
else.
do. We do. This one I'm pretty excited about. We are launching an entirely new Coaching Youth Hoops platform that will give you dynamic basketball plans. You can tailor them to your teams. You can tailor them, to your organizations as well. Add drills, take away drills. It'll come preloaded with age appropriate practice plan, so you can get a good head start, and then you can tweak them from there. That will launch this fall, so you got to get on the waiting list now. If you go to coachingyouthhoops.com/waitlist.
And if you
Again,
get on, Coach always gives a discount for the
I
early.
always give a discount. That's right.
He gets
Coaches,
yelled at by
you have
Coach
to
Collins.
thank me because Coach
Yes.
Collins was like, no.
I need to save
Oh,
money so I can go to Disney World. I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt.
dude.
So,
Yeah,
and if anyone's ever
that's for
been to
sure,
Walt
though.
Disney World, you basically have to take a second mortgage out. So,
Yeah.
I'm saying don't give discount. But anyway, it's fine.
We're
fine.
teasing. We're teasing. Of course we will.
Of course, we'll give you a discount. All right. So, what's today's topic, Coach?
We're going to talk about constraints and how do you make your practices and your drills a little bit more dynamic. And I've recently gone through a transformation over the last couple of years, and I've seen a huge change in my players and the output of my players.
Okay,
When I went,
there was a joke there when you
yeah.
said you went through a transformation. I think both of us have gone through transformations over the last 10 years. Not perfect ones, though, around the waist. I'm going, I don't like that transformation, getting a little less hair.
A little less hair, a little
Okay,
grayer.
I'm sorry. That was just it was too big of an opening from my old stand-up
Sure,
days.
stand-up. Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
yeah. I was going to say maybe there's a career in that after you retire from being a teacher.
I'm not going back to stand-up, but go ahead. It was good. It was funny. There are some teachers that do stand-up that are really funny if you follow them on TikTok. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about constraints and how you can apply constraints, and we talked a little bit about it here and there for the last last year or so. But I'm doubling down on a constraint-focused practice. And what does that mean? That literally means putting your players under different game-like situations. And so let me give you an example. A simple drill. We'll break the blitz attack offense down into the quarter court. And then we'll start working on, we might go 3 versus 1, and then 3 versus 2, then 3 versus 3. Okay, so that's one constraint. Well, first constraint is the quarter court. Second constraint is the number of defenders. Third constraint might be, and you can only score off of a layup, right? Or you can only score off of the person who's handing off, doing the ball handoff. You can only score off a dive.
Right.
And then another constraint might be the defense can score if they get a deflection. Right.
So I think coaches have been doing this forever. At least I have.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you look for in a constraint? Like, I've always done this with my drills because, to be honest with you, I'm a teacher and kids will get bored if I do the same stuff. So in a roundabout way, I was always doing this just for variation, but it was also a teaching thing. So what do you look for in constraints? What is your, I don't know, your magic button for that as far as looking for a constraint?
I'm gonna get to that question, but I'm gonna come at it in a different way. This whole idea of constraints really, really hit home with me when I was processing. There's 2 things kids always want to do when they get into the gym: shoot threes and scrimmage. Okay, so when I walk in,
not playing defense. I agree.
Yeah. So when I walk into the gym and I put the balls out, and they're all excited, they all grab a ball and they go shoot threes. I don't care if they're 3rd grade, they're trying to shoot threes, right? Second thing they ask then, right after that, is, Coach, are we scrimmaging today?
Always.
That's what I said. I said, we always scrimmage. That's our whole practice, right? And so I was thinking about this. It's like, okay, those are the things that they want to do. And then I was thinking more about the scrimmage stuff. So how can we scrimmage for an entire practice? Right? And I'm like, the best way to do that is by adding constraints. Well, then the argument always is, well, what if they don't know how to do X? What if they don't know how to shoot in 3rd grade, and you got to work through that? And how can you add constraints to it when they don't even know how to shoot? They're going to learn how to shoot, right? And you still work on some of those fundamental things, but I think you spend less time and put them into real application, because 1-on-0 doesn't really get you too much, and it breaks down in the game. How many times have we heard in the Facebook group, I'm so frustrated because in a roundabout way, coaches are saying my practice doesn't translate to the games.
No, and what I tell coaches too when they ask about this, anybody, like, you can always do 1-on-0. Because it's always you and a ball and a basket. Like, I never worry. Like, I say, that's fine. That bucket can be over here. You can do that after dinner, after you've done your chores, before school, because you can always get a bucket and a ball on you. The other issue is how do we change that to get more game-like? So that's sometimes you have to do, because it's just you and the ball. And you have to use your imagination, and you don't have those other people there, and it's you.
That's right.
So I get that. But yes, I agree. Part of that is
low energy, unfocused, foggy. You might be dehydrated. Gatorade Zero powders have been scientifically designed to help improve hydration balance in the body. With a clinically proven electrolyte blend and no artificial colors or flavors. Great tasting hydration no matter where you're going. Shop now online or at retailers nationwide. Gatorade, hydrates better than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Like, what are the constraints and how do you build? And I think you mentioned something about letting them pick constraints sometimes too.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, we created this drill the other day. I've always done this drill, but then I asked them, well, how can we make it quote unquote more fun, or how can we add more constraints to it? So with my younger youth teams, we call it Queen of the Court. There's probably other names for it, but we put them all in the key, and they're dribbling. Everybody's dribbling inside the key, running around, but they're trying to knock the ball out of someone's hand, their teammate's hand, right? And if they knock the ball outside of the key, right, that person is out. Okay, so that was the traditional drill. So then I said to them, and that's how we teach dribbling, right? It's dribbling under pressure. And then I asked them, well, how can we make this, like I said, a little bit more interesting? So and I had them break up into groups of 3 to come up with ideas. So now they have ownership in the practice. Now they have ownership in that drill. Now they always want to do that drill, because now for them, it's quote unquote fun because they came up with these additional ideas. Number one. So now if I knock Steve's ball out of the key, I have to go shoot a layup. If I miss the layup, you're back in and I'm out. So it puts pressure on me
I
making the
like that.
layup.
I love that.
Right? So it puts pressure there. Then let's say I knock your ball out, I make my layup, you have a buy-in, going to another court and age appropriate shooting a free throw or a 3. So as the kids get older, I let them shoot a 3. If you make it, now you're back in.
Right.
All right. And then there's other little things you have to move. You can't stay in one spot for too long, or else you're going to sink in the quicksand, that type of thing. So you constantly have to move around. But just taking those, the kids came up with those ideas and those concepts. So it adds constraints to it. It's a little bit more pressure based.
Right. And I think you can think about, like, I'll use a high school example. Maybe there's a team that really loves driving baseline. Well, all my constraints and all my stuff is going to be, how can we stop that? Or maybe there's a person in our league that's 6'11". He's a pretty good player. So maybe everything is about how we stop that 6'11" kid when he catches the ball, or how we deal with this, or so your constraints
can base it off a scouting report.
It can be specific. Now at the youth level, that's not always the case. But we all know those couple of kids in our league that it's like, okay, we got to stop that kid. So maybe our constraints can be based around that. I don't think they should just be random constraints. Sometimes they have to be.
Correct.
But if you can make them
it's
more
what
specific,
you want to emphasize, right?
It is.
So just imagine just a simple 3-and-3 drill. 3 players, right? So think about the number of constraints you could possibly have in there. And you can do the we talked about this. I don't know if we didn't talk about this in the podcast, but you and I were talking about this off air. You could literally have just one 3-and-3 drill,
right?
Come up with that's the only thing you could do in an hour practice, but based on the number of constraints, it could look like a completely.
And I wouldn't do that because they would get bored.
Time.
They would get bored with
Correct,
that if you only did that. I wouldn't do that. But yes, you could.
Right. So you can emphasize defense scoring. You can emphasize offense scoring. You can emphasize how you score. You can emphasize how the defense scores. You can emphasize, how many passes you have to make before you can score, right? You can limit the number of dribbles, right? 0 dribbles, multiple dribbles. You could say, okay, you can only score off of a ball screen, right? You can only score off of a ball screen, and you got to hit the roller. Right. So there's all of those kinds of options that you can do. And I actually created a list. It's not done yet, but
it's almost like a flow chart kind of thing with the bubble.
It is.
Go here, and then you can go there, and then you can go here. And
that's right.
So I love that. I love that aspect. All right. Anything else with constraints, Coach?
Well, and I think what you have to do, Coach, is, you have to make them age appropriate. But the other thing that I do is I also, if we're doing like a traditional fundamental drill, like we do this 2-on-2 drill, and the kids have to go around cones. If I see a matchup that maybe favors one or the other, I'll adjust the cone. So the person that's better than the other person has got to work a little harder, right, to maybe then balance out that discrepancy. Sometimes I'll do that, right? Sometimes I'll just let them, hey, that's how the other person who's not as good is going to get better. But you can then adjust cones in the position of cones as well. So what I would encourage you to do is be creative and look at a traditional drill or one of your favorite drills. One, ask the kids, hey, how can we build? They don't know what constraints necessarily are, but how can we
change this drill? Yes. How can we make obstacles in this drill? You can use other words, other constraints.
Other words. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I would challenge you to think of taking your favorite drill, but adding different variations to that one single drill. So it's harder, easier, it's varied, right? It's not the same every practice. But you also don't have to. That's the other thing with the constraints based. Coaches, you have an hour. A lot of coaches only have an hour in the practice. I'm implementing some new drills that I want to do because I'm kind of changing my basketball practice. And I spent probably 5 minutes explaining what I thought was a very simple drill. It was a brand new drill. They've never done it before, right? I spent 5 minutes or more just explaining the drill. You can't do that every practice.
No.
So by moving the constraints, it keeps the drill fresh.
Right. Yes.
Right.
And keeps it different. Okay. Anything else, Coach? Give those shout out on those URLs again.
Hey, coaches. Yeah, absolutely. We really want to come out and do a coach's clinic for you and your.
We'll show you lots of constraints in our clinic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll dive deep into that. And Coach Collins is going to share his experiences and how he got to 3 state titles, Coach of the Year, and what was you're the Hall of Fame, right? Wisconsin Hall of Fame too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you got my memo. Thank you for throwing that out there.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
So he's going to share all his experiences there. And then so go over to coachingyouthhoops.com/clinic. Get on that list. We're gonna, the winner we're gonna pick in October, and hopefully we can find a time to come out to you in early November to do that clinic. The next thing is, we're launching a brand new dynamic basketball practice platform, so you can get on that early list now. If you sign up now, we promise there'll be a little discount for you. You'll get first peek at all their new tools that are coming out. Probably get some free content in there that you can't get unless you get on that list. So you can go sign up coachingyouthhoops.com/wait list.
All right, till next week.
Hey everybody, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like. We love those. And send me an email, steve@teachhoops.com. Tell me what you want to hear in the future. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Have a great day.
Hey, it's your ceiling vent. So I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.